how grocery stores gangstalk employees. Okay, now before we get into this vid, remember, a manager is an employee as well. So on top of this vid, we're gonna be looking at this scenario from the perspective of a manager. Yes, a manager who is operating the system in this grocery store vicinity. So remember, this is just an example. This could happen to any location you're at, yo, okay? So before we get into it, let's break down the reasonings on why someone would go through gangstalking. And before we get into that, let's break down the beginning to how this even starts. So there's a term that some of you may be familiar with called organized mobbing. These are two completely, well, not completely different, but they are different. Gangstalking is much more severe. One more thing I wanted to add with this right here is my plan specifically with me. Okay, this is just me. Everyone's going through this scenario much differently. We all have our own different ways of trying to broadcast this and bring awareness about it. With me, I'm trying to direct this a much more different way to where I'm not even speaking on it anymore, because there's much more importance to this situation that you got to utilize in a more positive manner. That's the way I'm looking at it. Okay, but then again, let's not get off topic right now. That's a discussion for a different day. Let's get right into it. So the reasoning someone may go through it. Remember, this is a vicinity. So we're speaking on organized mobbing here. Let me give you guys a real quick thing here. So I don't know if you can see this, but that first square right there, that's the vicinity. Now the upper square here, that's the actual gang stalking. So let's get into that real quick. So let's say you're someone who's, because a lot plays into this. Okay? It could be your culture, it could be politics, it could be you're good at your job and it's just to take you out of your position. But just understand, organized mobbing has just to do with just the vicinity. Okay? So this isn't including outside influences that could correlate with gang stalking. So do you guys see where I'm coming from? Such as being on the internet, if you're an activist on the internet, if you're someone who's speaking on government situations that may be a little touchy. Agencies are into connection with all companies that are being built. Okay, so that's one thing we have to remember too. Evening the playing field, there's many different reasons. You are a pretty strong spirit if you're going through this situation. The individuals within the vicinity who are participating on this all only have one mind. They all only have one brain. So unless those who know what they're doing know that this person is deemed a pinpoint in which they're trying to get this individual to perhaps become a different position, to leave the position, to perhaps blow up, or to create a narrative for an agenda. That is what organized mobbing is, unless there hasn't been a previous situation that occurred outside and this person has already been getting gang stalked before they go into that vicinity. Okay, so within the vicinity, let's break down this whole thing now. All right, so now let's get into grocery stores. I know I just had to break that down real quick. So the pyramid scheme in the grocery store is the most important thing that's going to help you guys realize what's going on here. Okay, so let's break into the pyramid scheme of how grocery stores work. Okay, so number one, who's the top dog? The store manager. Now we're speaking about the vicinity now, okay? We're not gonna talk about the other characteristics who play a role, outside influences who are in higher positions, okay? The store manager. And remember, every grocery store is ran differently. That's why they have different names. They have little different things they do differently. There's a reason behind this, okay? Some grocery stores open up at 10 p.m. I mean, not open up at 10 p.m. Some of their night workers start at 10 p.m. end at 6 a.m. Some start at 9 p.m. end at 5 a.m. Some stores open up at 7 a.m. Some open up at 6 a.m. Vice versa. Some close at 1 p.m. Some close at 10 p.m. You guys get what I'm saying here. There's a reason behind all of that. So, anyway, let's get right into it. My bad, I kind of got off pace there. Let me see where I was at again. Where was I at? Okay, the pyramid scheme. You got the store manager, and let's say you have a co-manager after. Perhaps you could have two co-managers. You could have a co-manager, you could have a HR manager who could perhaps be the same level. And then you could have a day grocery manager. And then you could have customer service. You guys kind of know how the whole scheme goes. Now, after day grocery manager, you have the overnight grocery manager. And you may have a produce lead, you may have a dairy lead. You guys know how it goes. So anyway, let's get right into it. Now, how can you prove that such a thing, such as gangstalking or organized mobbing, is real? Because you'll have individuals actually try to make it seem like it's not real and make it seem like it's all delusional. So this is where we get into things like people are schizophrenic. This is when we get into things like, you know, them trying to act like this person has a personal problem when no, this is real. So let's break it down. Number one, run the numbers. Now you're probably thinking, well, what do you mean by that? Run the numbers. Yes, run the numbers. Now let's say you work, now this is where we're gonna get right into the nitty gritty, all right? Stores. Walmart. There's multiple Walmarts in your city limits, okay? So let's think about statistics. Let's think about sales numbers. Let's think about money, okay? And remember, outside influences are playing a role too, but we're just speaking on organized mobbing now. So let's say your overnight grocery manager, there's many different reasons, but this specific scenario that we're playing out is the reason that he's gonna be going through organized mobbing, gangstalking. He's a straight up badass. He's good at what he does. Really good at what he does. Okay? A lot of people who are going through, you know, this situation, they're geniuses actually. And that's what an individual would have to do in order to be in a situation like this. There is something you did that is very recognizable from higher up elite spirits that you've done that is recognized, that third dimensionally can't be seen, but you know what you did too, and they see it. Run the numbers. When you work in a grocery store, what is that? It's a job. What is a job? Matrix. Because you already know what time. They're scheduling your time. So they already know what time you're coming in. They already know how much money you're making. They already know what it is that you're choosing to spend your money on. And it depends what the agenda is if they don't like what this person is doing. Okay? But that's when we get into gangstalk, and we'll get to that in a second. So let's say that this individual who is running this crew, this system in this store, purposely has an agenda to make sure that his store is running better than every store in this state. Not even the city limit, the state. And this individual knows the habits and the practices it takes to continue this running and to blow the competition out the door. So once this is recognized through paper, run the numbers. The sales numbers have gone up. Let's go into the nitty gritty. Let's say every store system, based upon whatever volume of customers buy products here, is going to be dependent on how many crew members that this manager is running in this system. Okay? So if this let's take an example with the whole pandemic that went on, right? Let's say that there is a situation in which this individual is able to get the work done with people dropping like flies. So a store with a higher volume, so what does that mean? More customers shop there. More products are being ordered. More products are having to be put onto the shelf in a timely manner to make sure that these customers get it done, to get their products, right? If the highest volume store can be doing this with less people, 3 people, 4 people, and the manager is running this, and their productivity is much more than another store that has a lower volume with more people helping, oh yeah, and you making more money, yeah, there's an example right there. Here's a problem. So you're gonna think, well, why would this individual go through organized mobbing? Why would this individual go through this? He's doing a good job. Well, just because they're doing a good job in the vicinity doesn't mean they probably like what you're talking about on social media. If it has something to go against, regulations, rules, a rebellious manner. This is where we get into gang stalking now, where what you've been doing and what they've seen you do within the vicinity, and that has been recognized in the organized mobbing, they're now going to incorporate, because it's recognizable. It's not the fact that, and it could be two ways. It could be the fact that they don't like the way that you're running the system within the store, despite the fact that you're making more money. It could be a political issue. Yes, it could be a political issue, a race issue. That's organized mobbing. If a HR higher up department has an agenda to purposely, because yes, this is true. Listen, there is such a thing as no discrimination and all of that. But this is really real, where this scenarios have agendas, race agendas, purposely hiring a person who is of color, purposely hiring a person who is white or whatever. Y'all get what I'm saying? Purposely hiring a woman in a certain scenario, just knowing that there will be a reaction, or vice versa. There's a difference between just hiring this person as you should and hiring them as an agenda or an agent. That's when we get into the higher thing of gang stalking. Okay? So, organized mobbing is happening because of what you are doing in that vicinity and how the others are reacting to that. If they perhaps don't like the way it's going, perhaps they don't like the culture, politics, whatever it is that's going on outside. Okay? So this individual, they can't fire him. He ain't doing nothing wrong. In fact, he's making it better. So what do? Make him want to not be in the position anymore. This is when we get into agencies who participate once outside influences are being included with this individual. So I hope this is making sense to you guys, because we're not going to get into detail about that until later on. Okay? This could be things such as you getting fingerprinted, all right, outside of work. Remember, you could have got fingerprinted. You could have had situations where you had citations. Okay? Now they're going to get whoever your close family, your friends, your property gets messed with. Yes. Flat tires. If you're someone who's going through this, I know you've had someone flatten your tire. Okay? You've had, I mentioned how they can mess with your finances during this situation, such as, let's say you have a membership to a car wash. If you're working at a location where they're messing with your hours, because you're a manager, right? So higher up managers can be gaslighting this manager, ordering more, because it's just basically testing your intelligence. But if you're spiritually wise, if you're the overnight grocery manager, none of the higher managers can try to discredit you. It's gang stalking. You guys are the same team, but your teammates are literally trying to make you not be that position anymore because they're envious or jealous. That's really all it is. Or perhaps, incentives have been given out. Okay, this stuff is real. And I know those of you who are going through it, you see exactly what I'm speaking on. Falsifying on productivity, okay? Manipulation, gaslighting, changing the amount of work and trying to make it seem as if you're still supposed to be doing that much, despite the other stores with the same regulations as you have it much easier. So what am I trying to say? You are the grocery manager going through organized mobbing. So they're cutting hours. They're cutting associates. Associates are leaving. You have 3 associates and you're doing 2,000 piece trucks, compared to a store where they have 2 managers, 7 associates, and doing 15. This is real. Want to know why? Because the manager, the overnight grocery manager, who is running this system clean and making the feds who see the sales numbers run the numbers, right? It is being recognized and he knows what he's doing. It's a matrix job. It's about awareness. This individual already knows the habits that the people he's above, who he's doing better than, are already doing. Whether it be going to the club on their day off, he ain't. Whether it be doing, just bad habits or whatever, just little things. It's a mechanism. That's all it is, yo. Okay? But what leads into gang stalking is the outside influences. There is something you know about a certain situation. You are aware of too much. You are spiritually wise. There's a reason they do this. It's to take you out of your position. So I hope you guys can kind of see the trueness in this. Okay? There's much more I'm going to add to this. It's going to be a much more detailed and structured vid on how they do it. Okay? Because this right here is just showing you. There can be an associate who is very intelligent. Okay? You got to remember, a manager, an associate. Let's not talk about the actual company right now. Let's talk about let's just talk about people real quick. And awareness and know-how and choices. Simple choices, right? A manager is a choice. This is what I believe is a fact. I don't believe it's my opinion. I believe if you are in a company and this person is your manager, okay, they're your manager in that company, but they're your manager. That's a manager. Let's not get it twisted. That does not mean they're smarter than you. That does not mean they're above you. No. It does not mean that at all. This is a choice. Okay? An associate can easily become a manager if they want to. They just don't want to. Perhaps they have other priorities they need to take care of. Okay? An associate can be extremely cool with a store manager behind closed doors. Is there a problem with that? No. There could be a problem with it if there's an agenda towards the overnight grocery manager. Do you get it? The store manager doesn't like the overnight grocery manager, or just has to participate in whatever agenda it is within the outside influences. Do you understand? Or even if it is the culture, the politics, whatever it may be, the associate is in on it too. So the associate during the overnight grocery manager shift can purposely stage events for a reaction out of the overnight grocery manager to then cause communication with the store manager and speaking for this individual when he's not around them, and you guys get the whole motto. Okay? What is the staged event? They already pre-planned a situation in order to get your reaction. Okay? This associate is a veteran. Okay? This associate already knows how the system is ran. Okay? So let's say you become a manager for the first time in a grocery store. Some grocery stores will just transfer you to a different store, and now you're managing a whole new different crew. Okay? This is to test you. Once you're a manager, you think you're in the clear? What? You think that corporate doesn't watch you? They're watching you. They're seeing how the system is ran. Okay, so this is before you even get into organized mobbing. But once you get into a way where you're doing much better and you're running your mouth behind closed doors, that's just an example. You're going to get yourself into a situation. You had to have done something that is completely recognizable in all different pillars of our system: education, politics, the whole nine yards, a business, entertainment. Okay, so let me end the video here. I'm going to give you guys an example of gang stalking. Okay, so the overnight grocery manager is doing a really good job, and so good to the point where now he's just getting haters, man. All right, a big reason could be because the other departments can't even keep up. Y'all know how this goes if y'all work. I hope some people who work at grocery stores, you see exactly where I'm coming from right now. Your departments can't keep up. You know what I'm saying? They talking crap. They got all these excuses for the store manager. So now they got to switch up stuff because it's about run the numbers. It's about the money. If the overnight grocery manager and their grocery crew are running at such a higher volume, what's going to happen? Store manager ain't going to tell the overnight grocery manager, oh, you need to stop working hard. No, he's going to be on the other department's asses. That's what's going to happen, right? So the higher ups need to slow down the overnight grocery manager. So this is when we can get to situations like agencies, Homeland Security, NSA, CIA can come in and based upon the overnight grocery manager's time schedule and sleep patterns, and if they really want to slow him down, transfer him to a different location in which he needs to drive more hours. spend more money on gas. So now he's losing money. And PSYOP, the grocery store, turn the labels the other way around. Try to slow down the associate, the manager. Do you get it? Corporate comes in, higher ups. The day grocery manager comes in, he's in on it. They have a whiteboard now talking about productivity, talking about how the overnight grocery manager is doing less than the associates. That's falsifying. That's gaslighting. It's all a big setup to get the individual to react in a certain way. That's all it is. How grocery stores gangstalk employees. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it there.